Hi everyone, thanks for this episode of Nick Egan Times. On this episode, we have the incredible artist and music executive Genius. Genius, whose incredible influences spans across DJing, artistry, and is a music executive. Genius is the CEO of Monopoly, plus Genius is the business partner of multi-platinum artist K Camp and the label Rare Sound. Genius is releasing his amazing upcoming album Back to the Future in the spring of 2025. Welcome to the multi-talented Genius, and thanks for coming on the podcast.
For sure, for sure. Pleasure to be on here. Pleasure to talk to you. Looking forward to, what I'm saying, getting into it.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it. All right. Let's jump straight into it. Take us back. Let's go back to obviously your life growing up, your family, and I guess how everything started to transpire, especially getting into the music industry initially.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Jamaica in Westmoreland, a town called Williamsfield. I moved to America around like high school type of age. It was like a very big culture shock. I feel like, like what I saw on TV versus like where I moved to in Atlanta was two different things. I thought I was going to be in like super suburbia America, like, what I'm saying, just having like that experience. But I ended up moving to like, East Atlanta is kind of like the hood, you know what I'm saying? It was like a big culture shock. So when I got to high school, I felt like I was, at first I was super antisocial. I had this super thick Jamaican accent.
Mhm.
It was kind of hard kind of fitting in. Um, and I think like one of my cousins, he's like, yo, just come over to the house on the weekend. Yo, saying I'm super into like tech and computers and networking and all that type of stuff. And he was my Jamaican cousin. So I was like, yeah, saying? Like I don't have any friends to hang out with. I'll come hang out with you, saying, on the weekend. So I started kind of just like, saying working with him like deep into like he used to like build computers and put computers together and motherboard memory cards. So I was just getting this whole like knowledge of computers and I became like really interested in it, you know what I'm saying? And I became like a kind of like really advanced on it because that's what I was doing on the weekend till I started kind of eventually kind of like fitting into high school. Like I, got on the soccer team, met some more Jamaicans, you know what I'm saying, got on the swim team, like that type of stuff. But I was heavily just into like that whole computer world, you know what I'm saying? Like literally even thinking back to it now, it's like, damn, man, I wish I had bought some like Nvidia stock and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? All the stuff I was like learning back then. So I mean, like, I would bring that knowledge to school, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like the kid that everybody was like, yo, make me a playlist. You have the fastest Wi-Fi in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Download the songs, make me a playlist, like that type of thing. And then everybody was just like, whoa, like, bro, like, you really like a genius. They just started calling me genius because I was like setting up networking, going around the neighborhood, trying to hack Wi-Fi networks, you know what I'm saying? Like that type of thing, you know what I'm saying? So that's where kind of like the genius name came from. And I realized I was putting together playlists for like a bunch of like, say like my friends and stuff like that. And after a while, I had a bunch of music. I had like this, and all the, what I'm saying, it was Atlanta. So it's like all the Gucci's and the Futures and like, what I'm saying? I was just amassing this mass catalog of music. And I was like, okay, I got to do something with this. So towards the end of high school, I started like downloading virtual DJing, started like DJing. And then through like my first high school party for like my birthday and graduation, and like the whole school came. And it kind of just showed my transition into the culture, like from like this fresh Jamaican kid to like now, like, yo, I'm fitting into school. Like I'm the guy with the playlist. I'm the guy with the music. I also was like a super hustle. I was selling everything, like candy, all that. They just knew me as like, yo, this is the guy I need to go to if I need some information, if I need some playlists. So I just kind of built a wide network and so a lot of friends. So by the time I got to the end of high school, I had just started like getting into DJing. You know what I'm saying? Didn't really take it very serious. I was just like, yo, I got this. I'm a double party DJ for my friends type of thing. So that was kind of like the high school kind of like period for me. I was always, my parents are Jamaican. They're very strict. They was just like education, education, education. You know what I'm saying? So I came up with like both my parents. Like I love them both, but they really kept my head in the books. And yeah, so after that I graduated. I went to Clark, Atlanta for a semester in Atlanta, and I was like, yo, this is my parents want me to stay at home. I was like, I got to get out of here. It's just too close to home. So then I transferred to a school that was this Georgia Southern, and the only reason I went is like I checked like the statistics, and it was like, yo, this school has 70% women and 30% male. I was like, yo, send me down there. It was like the party school. I was like, yo, this is the party school. This is where I need to go. So that kind of brings me to college. college, when I went for computer engineering, but switched my major to information technology, information system, because it was more in line with kind of like what I was learning. Just from like out with my cousin, I was already like super advanced in the topic. So I feel like that gave me a head start in college, and during college is when I really started like DJing. I remember like I went to like the local club and I was like, yo, I'm trying to DJ. And the local DJ was like, all right, bro, just wait around, man. I'll see if I give you a chance. And he actually waited till like 5 minutes till the club and he was like, okay, you can play now. And I was like, bro, everybody's leaving. But I went up there and I played my set and everybody started walking back in the club. And he was like, oh shit, you're dope. Like, what the fuck? Like, so what I'm saying? After that moment, he just started kind of putting me on, and I started DJing in college, and then I started like throwing all the parties, to the point where I just became I established a company. We was like one of the biggest promotional company in the Savannah, South Georgia area. We were doing concerts. We booked Drake. We booked Nicki Minaj. Like by the end of college, like my education was like second. I was making so much money. I was just like, yo, degree. Like I'm making more than my professor. So, you know what I'm saying? I got really good at DJing, established myself in that area. And I was also getting in the mixtape game, you know what I'm saying, throughout college. I was like, yo, I wanted to be like drama, you know what I'm saying? DJ drama, DJ scream, I look up to those guys, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, I'm a host mixtape. So I started working with a bunch of artists as I was getting my name out there or whatever. And a couple of those artists was like K Camp early, you know what I'm saying, which eventually became my business partner. I remember when I met him, it was just the weirdest thing. We booked him for a show. He showed up like super drunk, just throwing up, and I was just like, bro, this dude is crazy. But then he took the mic and went up there and rocked it, and I was like, oh, this guy is special. So, I said after I graduated college, I moved back to Atlanta, and I actually started doing enterprise security. I was just like, okay, that was just some fun college experience. I'm not DJing anymore like that. I'm just gonna go get a corporate job. And I was like, yo, I remember I was like working. I was like, yo, this is gonna be my life forever, yo. Like this is what I gotta look forward to. Like, it's tech industry. Like, you know what I'm saying? I love all my tech guys, but they're a little weird. Some of them are a little weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm
Sure.
not gonna play World of Warcraft with you all day long. Like, you know what I'm saying? I love World of Warcraft, but that's all y'all doing? Like, that's crazy.
That's so
so
funny.
and I started like, saying like just DJing all the clubs while I had a job. I was just, showing up to all the Atlanta clubs on the east side trying to build my name. I was like, yo, I'm dope, put me on, put me on. Eventually picked up one gig, which is eventually led to another. And pretty soon I was DJing like 5 or 6 nights a week in Atlanta. And that's when I got deep into like breaking records, people coming to the club with records where I was just like, yo, I'm gonna break this record, I'm gonna play it for you every night. I really just became known as like a record breaking DJ in Atlanta and also just a mixtape DJ. So I was just like fully in, and I also had a job. So I was just like DJing till like 3 or 4 in the morning, gotta be at work in suit and tie by 8. Um and I didn't even realize like this was the day like it was just the corporate America was over with for me. Like I showed up one day to my office and HR called me to the office and they're like, yo, do you know you've been late every single day this month? And I was just like, my mind was so gone into like the music, like in DJing, I didn't even like think about just being late. I was just like, yo, I'm just trying to make it work. So I remember she was like, yo, I should fire you right now, but I'm gonna give you one more chance. And I went back to my desk, I packed up my stuff, I just left. I just was just like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna go full force in the music thing. So my parents was like, I called my parents, I was like, hey, I'm moving back in, I'm gonna put a studio in your basement, I'm gonna do it full time. And they're like, wait, what? You got college degrees, you have a good job paying over $100,000 a year, and you're just gonna quit and chase, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to them, they made me do it. So I mean, at that time I got really serious just with music because I felt like it was all I had. All the relationships I had built with artists, I just started reaching out, started, hosting mixtapes, be going to the studio, just trying to absorb the game, you know what I'm saying? Being a student of the game. And that brings to the point of the story where I was just like going hard. Camp came back around. He was like, yo, you're helping me break my records in the club, do my mixtape. So I did his mixtape. my friend called me and was like, yo, I got this group from the north side, you know what I'm saying? Like, their name is Migos, they buzzing, they want you to do their mixtape. And I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Cool. Then their song Bando took off, and then it just kind of just, it just kind of started taking off. I started doing a bunch of people mixtapes, speaker knockers, everybody. I just was in it. The business was coming. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm making mixtape money. I'm hosting mixtapes. I'm DJing, you know what I'm saying? And then, I was just kind of just doing that until like 2014, 2015. And then one day Camp, he came with the Money Baby single. I remember we was breaking it in the clubs or whatever, and it took off. And I remember he invested in it, him and his family invested in it, and he just kind of took off. And he came one day, he was just like, Genius, you're not ready to get out your mom's basement, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's go on the road. You know what I'm saying? Come be my DJ. Let's get on the road. Let's, you know what I'm saying? Let's take the show on the road. And then I transitioned to being his DJ. And that's kind of like I'm not sure how much of the upbringing. I feel like I'm just going on and on, but that brings us to like 2015. Camp start taking off big. You know what I'm saying? We start our whole movement. I'm on the road with him like 5, 6 nights a week. You know what I'm saying? When you're hot, we're booked every night. We're touring. That initial feeling of just like, okay, we're out of Atlanta. Like, damn, we made it. Like, we made it out of Atlanta. So we moved to LA, and I was just being his DJ from 2015, 2016, 2017. Just having fun. I feel like it was the first period I was just like, whoa, this is amazing. Like, we're in different city. We're on planes every day. Like, we're living in the Hollywood Hills. It was just like a dream. It was like surreal. Coming from like Jamaica, where I'm from, the east side, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, whoa, this is like crazy. You know what I'm saying? It just finally felt like a moment where I was actually like living out my dreams during that period. And then the business got messy. You know what I'm saying? This is when I learned how tragic the music industry is. You know what I'm saying? It seems so funny at first. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? We are not asking questions about your deals and management and what's actually going on in the back end. So Kemp was in a really bad label situation where he had signed with somebody that signed him to the major, and then he ended up finding out that there was just bad business going on, and then the label was just like, well, you're not technically signed to us, you can't even talk to us. So you know what I'm saying, they say you can't put out music. So it was just like it was a period of like a high, and then it was just like, yo, the rug just got snatched from under us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, one moment we're living in the hills, private chef, whole team, everything is going crazy. Next moment it's just like me and Camp in a beach house somewhere. Like, where did everybody go? You know what I'm saying? Everybody
Yeah.
just kind of just gave up quick. Um, and that triggered like just, like I wanted to just learn everything about the music business. I felt like I had spent so much time learning music, but not the music business. And you know what I'm saying? These completely two different things. You have the music and you have the music business, and most people don't understand that. So I spent a lot of time just reading, researching everything. Every single thing there is to know about the music business. I felt like during that period it was really challenging for us, but we kind of just made a commitment. Camp was just like, yo, I'm just gonna keep getting better as an artist. I'm gonna keep working. Even though I can't put out music, he still went to the studio every day and recording. And I still was just reading books every day. Like, this is how we're gonna do, you know what I'm saying? God go show us a way. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure out how to kind of like put music back out. Or whatever. And you know what I'm saying? That period was really, I think that's a really defining period of like who I am now as a music exec. And you know what I'm saying, everything that I've learned over the business, because we just kind of learned like, yo, we never wanted to be in a situation where somebody could control if we could put music out, control our art, control, you know what I'm saying, just kind of like our lifeline, because before that we were just musicians. We're just happy to do music, you know what I'm saying? Like, and now it was a situation where we couldn't put music out. So we ended up actually, and my manager at the time was this guy named Naveed. And we were getting ready to pack it up and leave LA. We were just like, okay, the music, it defeated us. The music industry got us. We're out. You know what I'm saying? We got to move back home, and we're gonna try to just reanalyze. And we were getting ready to move back. And Naveed is just like, yo, I got a job with this new management company, the company called Madden. And they're looking to manage new artists or whatever. And it's a guy named Joel and Benji Madden. And you know what I'm saying, they want to sit down and talk to you guys. So sat down and talked to Benji, and it was crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying, they invited us to their house, and I'm just like, yo, these guys like really, I'm in like their backyard. I'm like, yo, who house is that? And they're like, yo, that's just a guest house. And I was like, oh, that's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in there, we're having a conversation, his wife walking, and I'm looking at his wife like, this can't be who. Is that Carmen Diaz? I'm just like, yo, like, it was just like surreal, like real Hollywood shit going on. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we really clicked with those guys. And, I really like respect those guys as like some mentors that really taught us the game and really came in at a pivotal time, got us with the right attorney that was able to get us out of that Interscope deal, negotiate a deal between Interscope and Empire for us to be able to put out music out on our own terms. And then we just from 2016, 2017, we was like, yo, we're gonna build our own label, which is Rare Sound, the label that I'm partnering with Camp in, and we're just gonna kind of do things our own way. So I spent like the next 2, 3 years just building that, building Camp back up, building everything back up, everything with a label. And then, we had the song Lottery take off around like 2019, 2020, and it just kind of just globally broke TikTok. You know what I'm saying? I was always kind of like very aware of like tech and streaming. I feel like I was like chosen because I was just like, yo, I'm a tech guy. And then music and tech was intersecting. And then I just kind of saw it happening. And I was just like, this is our moment. This is what we need to do. You know what I'm saying? And it just all hit. And you know what I'm saying? TikTok just blew up the Lottery single and became just like this global phenomenon. And everybody just started paying attention to us like, whoa, those guys really came back. I think like the comeback story in hip hop is like one of the greatest stories because I think coming back is actually harder than breaking a new artist. Like, you know what I'm saying? Once the
Yeah.
game is done with you, like, it's crazy. So we had that success and it was super successful. And it's just so much. It's so crazy because around 2019, that was happening, and I was watching a Jay-Z interview, and he was just like, "Yo," he was like, "Yo, when we figure out our own distribution, when we figure out how to make that, that's when we're gonna take over the game." You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, yo, I feel like I know everything about the music industry. Why can't we just set up our own pipes as distributors and just distribute our own music? Like, because even if we do have control of the label, you still have to go through a distributor, you know what I'm saying, to get your
Yeah.
music out. It doesn't matter. Like, so I did a ton of research. I flew over to Europe in 2019, met with some guys from Israel, some dope coders from around the world. And I was just like, y'all want to build my own distribution platform. So then I started just getting the coding in place, started working with like Fuga and a couple of the companies to kind of just build my platform. And I was like, I want to launch this. And I want it to be somewhere where like, yo, if you're coming off a major, and because like I saw what the problem was in distribution. You have like the aggregators like TuneCore, CD Baby, and all this, and they're providing these services, but if nobody's actually like marketing your stuff or like fighting for you at DSPs to be on like the front page, you're just gonna fall kind of flat unless you just have a ton of momentum. So I wanted to bring back what distribution was like. Yo, I'm trying to get your product placed on the front page of stores so it could sell, which is in essence what distribution is and what distribution was kind of missing unless you were like with Empire, a couple of the big distributors that really care about you. So I wanted to kind of fill that space in the market that's kind of like a boutique distributor. Where like, yo, if you're coming off a major label and you want somebody to handle your releases with that same care that a major would, and actually go to DSPs and fight for you. And I already had those relationships from like the label and Camp blowing up and going to Spotify. I already had a lot of the relationships. I was just like, yo, this is easy. I just need the tech. So we built the tech and launched in 2019. And yeah, that first year was crazy because pandemic hit. So it was like God, like all of a sudden we couldn't tour no more. So it was just like, wow, like this is perfect. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has to put out music during pandemic to eat. And here goes a system that, you know what I'm saying, that's like top of the line. And we're gonna do the pitching and editorial. And we're already got the marketing funnel because a lot of the marketing funnels I was developing from Rare Sound, I was just able to implement a bunch of across the different artists as far as like influencer marketing, viral PR, driving millions of impressions on Twitter and stuff like that. And we used to sell those to the record labels. You know what I'm saying? Like before I started distribution, which is why I wanted to get into it because I was just like, yo, Mixtape Monopoly. Monopoly was a marketing company at first, right? And we were selling like viral PR, influencer marketing to damn near all the majors. And I was like, yo, like we're blowing up like Megan Thee Stallion at 300. We're like blowing people up because it's so new and you know what I'm saying? This is before like Mark Zuckerberg and Twitter was just like, no, you have to pay me to promote. Like, you know what I'm saying? They had
Yeah.
all type of loops where you could just go viral, like, you know what I'm saying, before they started shutting it down. So I was just like, yo, this is working. We're blowing artists up, but I don't have a stake in it. They're just paying me a la carte. That's not a good business model because it's dependent on marketing in music changes damn near every few months. You know what I'm saying? Like every few months is something new of how to break music. It's just always something new that's in the space, especially in this digital era. So that's why I wanted to get into distribution and kind of pull those services back from the major. And I was just like, hey, at least if you sign over here, you're gonna get those services and be able to like get streams and get impression, which was our selling to the marketplace. So that's kind of like the overall story to kind of like where I'm at now. I still tour with Camp. We still have the label, you know what I'm saying? We still have the Rare Sound label, and I'm super just big in like the distribution space because I feel like the new problem is everybody wants to be independent, but everybody doesn't know how to build an independent business. And like that's a major thing that's going on right now. So that just kind of brings current to where I'm at right now.
Sure. That's thanks for sharing. That's incredible, your story too. Like obviously from where you started to where you are, it's amazing. It's truly remarkable. And especially the part where you've shifted into distribution, that's obviously where the market's headed too, right? So you obviously pivoted at the right
Yeah.
time when COVID happened. So yeah, it's incredible how you adapted and it worked for you. So yeah. Cool. All right.
Sure.
Tell me about your amazing new album coming up. Obviously next year, Back to the Future 2. Talk to me about how that transpired and what I guess your fans and people listening to it can look forward to.
So that came about like I feel like during that pandemic period, like I had put out Back to the Future one, like immediate when pandemic kind of dropped. It was like 2020, and I put it out. It kind of just had captured like how I was feeling initially, and then I kind of felt like because I felt like I was kind of like hitting a burnout period because like I felt like the whole 2010s to 2020 was just engulfed in work, work, work. All I cared about was work, 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 trying to make this work, trying to come back, revenge on the music industry. No, they can't play us. That whole energy, right? So like after we got to 2020, it was like, and I never was an artist. I always was a DJ. I never was just like, yo, I want to rap. I want to make, you know what I'm saying, get in the booth. It was just like I was around like guys like Camp so much and always in the studio and like giving ideas here and giving ideas there. And they're just like, bro, just get in the booth, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just go in there and say it and do it. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of like encouraged me and pushed me to get in the booth. So I was like, up until Back to the Future one, I was kind of like really insecure about like my artistic work because I'm like, yo, all the guys I'm rapping with, like Camp and all these guys, like they've been rapping for like a while. You know what I'm saying? I'm like a DJ transitioning into rap, like is this whole kind of thing or whatever. So I was kind of like really insecure about like you know what I'm saying? But when I put out Back to the Future one, it got like a really good reception. And I was just like, wow, like people are really feeling me, like, you know what I'm saying? On like the whole music thing. So after 2020, like of course I was like knee deep in trying to build a distribution company, knee deep in trying to like run the label. And I just felt like music just became a journal for me. I always felt like I was going into like this depression phase. Like I moved out of Atlanta, I moved to Tulum, Mexico, just you know what I'm saying, just to kind of like try to get my mind back stable. And the album is just like a product of that from like 2020 all the way to kind of like 24, just like my journal entry. Cause I think I do music as a journal entry, not like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like when you hear my music, you're gonna hear kind of like what it feels like to be like an executive and like, you know what I'm saying, to be an entrepreneur and to be still in the culture, in hip hop, still being in the clubs, still being on tour, still having the wild nights. It just kind of encompasses like this complete human. It's just like I think for most people, you either get like the entrepreneur side or you get the artist side. Very few artists could walk that thin line of like I'm an entrepreneur, I'm also an artist, but able to capture it. And I think that's what this album is like. When you listen to it, you'll get a perspective like, okay, this guy is actually really in in the culture,
Yeah.
and this guy is actually like in the office. And I think that's just like my life. Like I go to the office every day and then I go to the club or something because I'm trying to find new artists, or I go hang out, or Camp is gonna call me and be like, bro, let's go to Blue Flame, let's go to Magic City, let's go to the strip club, let's go, you know, saying rock with the DJ. So it's like I'm still in it, and I have to like still be this like major executive figure, and it's always like this conflicting thing. And like the music is like the outlet for it, I think. So that's what I think people could expect from this album. Like it's my first kind of like full length project where even you listen to 98 Story, that's like me doing the DJ Khaled thing, which is me just on a few hooks and artists filling in the verses because I wasn't like super just comfortable all the way with my craft. I was just more of like, you know, working with producers, getting the sound I like, taking it to this artist. But I found it really hard to convey my message like that across a project. So with this one, I feel like with Back to the Future 2, I could really you're really gonna get an idea of me conveying my messages and my emotions and you know what I'm saying, how I feel to be a stressed out, bootstrapped entrepreneur and also just being in the club like, oh my God, I need to get to the office, but I'm having fun at the club, you know what I'm saying, type of vibe.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Um, what do you, when you look back, what obviously you've done so many things and you're still doing amazing things. What would you like your legacy to be?
I think my legacy, and it's weird because I just saw like Mike Tyson was just like, "There's no legacy. You're here today, you're gone tomorrow." I'm like, "Damn, bro! Like, we're just some dust spectacle in the world." Like, but I think my legacy that I want to leave behind is just like I think too often like the world put individual in boxes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like I want people to feel like, bro, it's okay to do and try multiple things, and you know what I'm saying, not just be typecasted in a box. Even with like my team now, I'm just like, yo, like I don't want to just be put into like, oh, he's a rapper, oh, he's a DJ, or oh, he's a this. You know what I'm saying? I want to leave it out there like it's a possibility. Like as you move through life, you could do different things. You should try different things. And I feel like that's what I even want to leave to the youth. You know what I'm saying? Like don't get caught up in like just what's going on now, what's going on in the moment. Just always like leave the box open. You know what I'm saying? Like don't make your world small. You know what I'm saying? Like I always say world famous. All my friends, when they see me, they be like, "Oh, that's world famous." Like I've been speaking in kind of into existence. Like, yo, I want to be more global and big and not be able to be put in a box. Even moving to Mexico and learning Mexican culture and just feeling at home there is just like it's just like opening different boxes. I think my legacy I want to leave behind is just like don't let nobody put you in a box, man. Like I think there's just too many boxes in the world, and I want to leave the legacy that you can be an artist, you can be a DJ, you can be a rapper, you can be an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Don't let anybody like try to tell you like you can't just to be small.
Wonderful. That's great. That's great advice too. Genius. Thanks for coming on the podcast. I do appreciate it. It's been amazing talking to you and obviously everything you've done. And I really look forward to your new album coming out next year. And yeah, thanks for coming on the podcast. I do appreciate it.
For sure. Thanks for having me. Good talking to you. Let me know anything you need from me, man. Album is slated to come out next year. Anybody that want to look at like the distribution and stuff, monopolydistribution.com, you get a good overview of kind of like our services and everything we have going on. Because I do want to inspire just the next generation of artists to take ownership of their business, build their independent business the right way. Because we're all about like an artist being able to make a living off your music. I think that's the biggest thing. Like I'm trying to push right now, like creating revenue streams for artists to be able to survive and eat off their music. So that's that side. And yeah, the album is coming next year. You could always check out my stuff now on all the streaming platforms at I Am the Genius on all the socials. I look forward to hearing from everybody that's tuned in.
Beautiful. Thanks for sharing. And yeah, cool. Have a great day.
You as well, bro.